It is I, President Hokage, and you're probably wondering why I'm wearing this ridiculous wig.
No.
Which means you've already forgotten about President's Day.
What?
It was only yesterday.
Huh?
But here at Xplay, we look for any excuse to celebrate the holidays, even the dumb ones.
Especially the dumb ones, because all holidays are dumb, but made up. But President's Day feels especially made up, which means we're here to celebrate it any way we want. And since most real-world presidents are upsetting to think about for too long, we figured we'd rank presidential appearances in video games.
Great taste in wigs, though. I kind of feel like I'm pulling it off.
Absolutely not. This is Xplay Countdown. I'm on live. Number 5, President Rufus Shinra from Final Fantasy VII. Now, in 5th place is President Shinra from Final Fantasy VII, who is technically the president of a massive energy corporation, but when that corporation has its own army, it didn't have an army after the Wu-Tai War, come on guys, get your lore correct, and controls most of the populace, I'd argue that it becomes a meaningless distinction real fast. So, good old Rufus here, he counts.
And as we all know, the entitled businessman makes for a great president. Okay, maybe not, but look at the very least. They make for a great boss fight in Rufus Shinra, and any indication, Rufus and his pet face off against Cloud early on in Final Fantasy VII and late in the remake. But his douchey vibes come across strong in both versions.
It's kind of nice to see a president who is so outwardly evil, and then you get to kick his ass on the roof of a building. If I'm being honest, it sounds like our actual system could stand to take some notes from Final Fantasy.
Coming in at number 4 is the president from Sonic Adventure 2.
What?
Yeah, because Sonic's not here, but maybe I can do one. That's right, Sonic the Hedgehog is for friends with the president. That can is whether we like it or not. It's Sonic Adventure 2. Sonic and Tails intercept the president's limo as he's in the middle of hearing one of Dr. Eggman's evil plans. You know it probably sucks to win a whole election, become president, and still have to deal with the antics of someone who willingly calls himself Dr. Eggman.
He may just be a generic president who isn't even worth having his own name, but the fact that he's pals with Sonic is enough to get him on this list. Every now and then he pops up in another Sonic game just to remind everyone that, yeah, Sonic hangs out with the president and probably uses his powers to enact more change in a single day than all of the president's policies combined to this point.
Number 3, Huffman from Destroy All Humans. Kind of like our last entry, President Huffman from Destroy All Humans is about as generic looking as a president gets, even amongst the sea of generic white presidents. You can look him up and go, yep, that's a generic white president. But he does eventually get pretty cool, and after he gets there, he gets murdered.
What? Yeah. Huffman may look like a composite photo of every president ever, but after he dies, his brain is put into a massive robotic body, which isn't something any other president can claim.
I don't know. I think I heard that Teddy Roosevelt had a similar procedure done.
Sure, I believe that, but Roosevelt was never subject of a video game mission called Attack of the 50-Foot President, so I rest my case.
Fair enough.
Number 2, George Washington in Assassin's Creed 3.
Should have been number 1.
The moment has finally arrived where we've run out of wacky, made-up presidents and have to talk about some real-life ones who have appeared in video games, like George Washington, who plays a large supporting role in Assassin's Creed 3, and an even larger one in the DLC, The Tyranny of King Washington.
Yeah, having Washington pop up in a historical context during the main campaign is kind of cool, but it's like the bonkers alternate reality from the DLC that earns him a spot so high on this list. After coming into contact with an Apple of Eden, the player's character enters a parallel world where Washington lost his mind and set himself up as the Mad King of the United States. Hell yeah, this is what I'm talking about. History's all good and well, but if you're putting George Washington in an Assassin's Creed game, then you should do some wacky sci-fi shit. Bros, I'm just saying.
That is nothing what Washington stood for at all in any of his manifestos.
I cannot tell a lie.
Plus, at the end of it wasn't even an apple tree. What the? Plus, at the end of the DLC, the real Washington gets to be a bro and reject the power that the Apple of Eden offered him because that was his whole thing. Between that and the size of his role in the game and the fact that he was our very first president, he almost got the top spot on this list. But there is another real-life president whose video game appearance one-ups Washington's through sheer ridiculousness.
And guess what it is? Coming in at number 1 for top 5 presidents in video games, Bill Clinton in NBA Jam.
Yeah, let's go.
Hear me out.
What?
You know, when Clinton wasn't out there not having sexual relations with that woman, he had an appearance as a president in a video game, undoubtedly, okay? As Bill Clinton, he appears in NBA Jam. The game already leans into a feeling of absurdity with basketballs on fire and jumps farther than the human body is capable of. And then you throw in the secret characters like Clinton, and it just starts to feel even more like a fever dream.
He also appeared in the 2010 version of NBA Jam, appearing alongside a handful of other guest players, like the Beastie Boys, and even a whole bunch of other politicians like Barack Obama, Joe Biden, George W. Bush, and even Dick Cheney. Just as a general rule for any game in any genre, nobody wants to play as Dick Cheney unless it's Duck Hunt.
Actually, yeah, that's true. He gets a bonus when he shoots his friends, an accuracy bonus. Plus, the novelty had kind of worn off by then, but it's hard to describe how surreal it must have been to play as Bill Clinton in 1993, engaging in a 2v2 basketball game against the Chicago Bulls. So you can keep the alternate reality where George Washington lost his mind and give me one where Bill Clinton dedicated his life to dunking on fools.